All right, so we just got done with the top fighters in America as of 2025. And I told y'all that next up, we're going to go down to Mexico. So that's where we're at today. And it's about to get crazy because one of my favorite fighters at Pitbull Cruz, he didn't even make the list. So you know it's about to get interesting.
It's about to go down.
Hello guys, this is Rolly Romero.
Yo, my name is Nonito Donaire. What's up guys, it's Anders Eyes.
We're here with Bob Santos Boxing.
And I rock with Dr. Boxing Talk.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk.
And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk. Thank you for all the love, thank you for all the support.
You're rocking with Dr. Boxing Talk. Get your daily news from my man right here, the best in the business. Let's get it, baby.
All day, baby.
Amen.
Bam!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you'll say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talk. And today we are back to give you the top 5 fighters of Mexico as of 2025. And like I said before, we did it for America already, but this one, we got to go down to Mexico and check it out, Now, a little disclaimer, I want to explain to you like I explained in the last video. This is about nationality. It's not about heritage. Where you are born, the country in which you were birthed, and you acquire citizenship through birth. That's where we're counting you as for this list. Now, when I talk about heritage, and if you don't know the difference, like I said, go ask your parents or go argue with your mirror. I don't have time for that. So let's get right to it now. We're going with the top 5 fighters out of Mexico. And I want to tell y'all before we start, the people that are honorable mentions, man. It was very tough to make this list. I know some people are going to disagree. That's the nature of top 5 lists or top 10 lists. That's the nature of boxing. It's all subjective, right? However, I did consider a lot of fighters that didn't make it. Don't think I just did this thing recklessly. I never do, right? So let's start off with Lindolfo Delgado, right? He was he was up for consideration, being undefeated, but unfortunately, at this point in his career, he just doesn't have the quality of opponents or recognizable wins to justify him being on this list. And like I said in the intro, Pitbull Cruz, the former champion at 140, is one of my favorite fighters. He didn't make the list either because, he had a pretty lopsided loss to Rayo Valenzuela, and he's bouncing back. Of course, he lost to Tank. These aren't bad losses, and he had a loss earlier on as well. Like I said, these aren't bad losses, but considering the other fighters, I think there's 5 fighters from Mexico that are further on the totem pole than he is currently right now. So that doesn't mean that these fighters can't bounce back and get up there, but right now as it currently sits, he's just not there. Now I also want to mention somebody else too, Armando Resendez. Yes, Jose Armando Resendez. He just had what I consider to be upset of the year when he beat Caleb Plant, but he does have a couple losses, including a stoppage loss to Elijah Garcia. Speaking of Garcias, Oscar Duarte, who's on a nice little run, he didn't make the list either because although he's on a nice run, he did have a controversial victory over Kenneth Sims Jr. in his last outing, not to mention a couple losses, with one of those losses also coming by way of stoppage to another Garcia, but this time it's to the racist Ryan Garcia. So, so we have to consider these things. I'm looking at not just what have you done now, but what have you done also before and as of late. So of course what you have done before could help you, but I'm also looking to, like I said, what have you done most recently as of late as well as of 2025 to put you on this top list. So now let's get to it. This one was very difficult. I'm telling you, I was fighting myself with this one, man, for number 5, and I came down to two people, man. And out of those 2 people, I'm gonna tell you who they are right now. It was Eduardo Sugar Nunez, the champion of the IBF title for 130, and Emanuel Navarrete, the WBO title holder at 130 as well. And I went with Emanuel Navarrete, man.
There's a left hand to the body and another knockdown.
So yes, number 5 is Emanuel Navarrete, man. Now, like I said, this is very crazy. This is very close for me. It was a very hard decision because both these fighters, Eduardo Sugar Nunez and Emanuel Navarrete, are both champions currently at the 130-pound division, with Navarrete representing the WBO part of the title and Sugar Nunez representing the IBF. Now, they also have a loss early on in their career. Eduardo Sugar Nunez only having 1 and Emanuel Navarrete having 2 losses, but that other loss came when he was trying to reach for greatness at 135, and he ran into Denis Berinchyk, the Ukrainian contender, former champion, and he lost that fight. So I don't really think that looks too bad in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, he moved up, tried to challenge himself, and he came up short. Now, I thought his performance was bad, but the fact that he went forward, trying to strive for greatness and go up to a higher division. That some will argue that he probably needs to be in a higher division anyway, because he does seem a little heavy for 130. But that's neither here nor there right now. Emanuel Navarrete, he comes in number 5 because he does have signature wins over guys like Oscar Valdez, who he beat twice. He does have a draw against Robson Conceição, you know, and like I said, he does have that controversial no contest to Charlie Suarez. But other than that, you know, I think at this point right now, how it's sitting, Emanuel Navarrete is definitely above the rest of the guys, you know, particularly Eduardo Sugar Nunes, who I think at maybe in a couple months or after his defense that's coming up, hey, that might change, you know. But right now, number 5 to start the list is Emanuel Navarrete. Now let's get to number 4, baby.
About anything. The body shot by Zepeda. He hurt Cabrera.
Now this one, number 4, I almost left him off, you know, because unlike the majority of the people on this list, everybody else on this list, he has not been a champion yet. But I think that's more so not so much because of his talent, but because the fact that he has some pretty tough champions that are holding the belts right now, you know what I'm saying, that I don't know if anybody could conquer. But number 4 is William Cameron Zepeda, man. William Zepeda, he only has 1 loss, and that's to Shakur Sugar Stevenson. There's really no shame in that. You know what I'm saying? He put up a good fight. In fact, not only did he put up a good fight against Shakur Stevenson, he actually wobbled him.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he almost dropped it like it's hot. You seen it.
No, did he?
Pause. But anyway, Zepeda, now he doesn't have like a win that's like a signature win, or even like somebody that he really dominated like that we could be like, oh man, that's impressive. But I do think it's something when he beats Tevin Farmer twice. We already know he's a contender. I know Tevin Farmer didn't look good in his last fight against Schofield, who put him out of there quick in 1 round. But Tevin Farmer's a tough contender. You know, it just wasn't his night. You know, he's been in there with Schofield, obviously. He's been there with Zepeda twice. Been there with Murataya. This guy's been around the block. He's a veteran. That's a good win, though. So shout out to Zepeda for that. Not to mention, he also beat Giovanni Cabrera and some other guys like that, man. And, you know, he throws a lot of punches, those punches in bunches. And like I said, I think it's just more so the fact that he hasn't been a champion yet is because he's in a tough division of 135. You know, that has title holders like Gervonta Tank Davis, obviously Shakur Stevenson, and had guys like Keyshawn Davis in there. He just moved up to 140. We think he's going to be at 140, but he was a champion at 135. So 135 is a pretty tough division to be a title holder in, and he just went against one of the best guys, not only in the division, but one of the best guys in the boxing, the Shakur Stevenson. So William Zepeda, I definitely think that he's in his rightful position of number 4 to represent the Mexican boxers in this top 5 list. You know what I'm saying? Now let's move on to number 3. And you see what it is, man. One of my favorite fighters right now representing the featherweight division, that is none other than Rafael El Divino Espinosa, man. I personally think that he's the best at 126. That's no offense to the other title holders like the WBC title holder Stephen Fulton, the WBA title holder Nick Ball, and the IBF title holder Angelo Leo. I just think the WBO title holder Espinosa, I just think he's the best, man. He's tall, has a long frame. It's very crazy. Like, he's like an anomaly, you know? He's tall, lanky, long, and he likes to bang. And his fights with Robesi Ramirez, man, you can't get any better than that. It's very exciting. I personally believe that not only does he have the potential to be unified at 126, I think he has the potential to be undisputed at 126. So this was very hard for me. I really struggled with this one, not because of putting him at number 3, but to me, I think that you could argue that he should be higher. It's just that I don't know if I could put El Divino any higher because these next 2, they're some of the best in boxing.
Yeah.
Number 2, let's talk about it. Number 2 would be Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, man, the current unified champion in the cruiserweight division. Yes, unified. Not only does he have the WBA title, but he also has a WBO title that he won most recently off of Chris Billiam Smith. His last fight was against Junior Dorticos for his mandatory to defend his WBA portion of the title that he won off Gulamarian. But Zurdo, he looked good, man. He barely looks like he's in trouble. He looks like he's handling business. You know, it just looks like he's just, you know, it's just a walk in the park. I'm not, no disrespect to his opponents. You know, Dorticos put up a good fight. I'm not saying that he was easy, but Zurdo looked like he won comfortably, you know, in my personal opinion. I know sometimes people may see, oh, well, you get touched up a little more than you need to. But watching Zurdo, if you watch Zurdo enough, you know, you can kind of tell when he's in trouble or when he's being overwhelmed, like he was against Dimitri Bivol, which is his only loss. You see what I'm saying? And losing to somebody that's undisputed at light heavyweight division, There's no shame in that. You know, Dimitri Bivol is on the top 10 pound for pound list. So Zurdo, some people may say that he has a lot of fluff on his record because he has a lot of wins and doesn't have too much substance. But if you look at his titles right now, especially in the cruiserweight division, he beat Joe Smith Jr. We know Joe Smith Jr. has been in the ring with the likes of Beterbiev and Bivol, and we know what he did to the legend, the much older legend in B-Hop, but it was still, that's what he did to him. You know, I ain't gonna go back through that, you know what I'm saying? Because that might give some of us PTSD. It's very traumatic, you know what I'm talking about? But he beat him. His next fight at cruiserweight was against Goulamirian for the WBA. Then his next fight was a unification against Chris William Smith for the WBO. And then his fight after that was to handle his obligation as a WBA title holder to defend his belt against the mandatory Junior Dorticos. So this man is handling business. Now, I know we want to see him against Zepeda for probably one of the best fights in boxing. Actually, I think it's one of the most underrated fights in boxing to be had. Hopefully it happens soon, but I think it will happen eventually, where Zepeda, the IBF and Ring Magazine Cruiserweight champion, will fight Zurdo Ramirez for the WBA, WBO, and we'll get a unification. In the meantime, in between time, we'll see what the WBC title holder, Badu Jack, does in his rematch against Noel McCallan. But I definitely think that Zurdo is not only one of the best, I think he's the top 2 in cruiserweight division. Whether you want to argue him or Zepeda, it's up to you. But I think he's one of the best in boxing right now. That's why he's coming in at number 2. And I already know y'all know who number 1 is. Come on now.
Eso, sí. Tú vas a mamar el bicho. Tú vas a mamar.
Oh, you still don't recognize him? You need me to spell it out for you? Okay, I'll give you a formal introduction. Number 1 is none other than the face of boxing, the first and only undisputed champion in the 168-pound division, super middleweight, Saul Canelo Alvarez, man, aka Cinnamon is what I like to call him. We have Cinnamon being in the position that he should be in, right? Is number 1 for the top Mexican boxer right now as of 2025, and we are in August. You know, not only is it worth mentioning what he has done, you know, for being in the rings with the likes of the GOAT, you know, or one of the GOATs, Floyd Mayweather. Whether he came up short or not, that's still great experience, right? He's been in there with Sugar Shane Mosley. He's been in there with Miguel Cotto. He's been in there with just so many fighters. It's countless. The man has 67 wins. He's been in there with Dimitri Bivol. He's been in there with Sergey Kovalev. He's been a light heavyweight champion. You know, he's been in there with Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. He's been in there with Triple G 3 times, a trilogy with Triple G. That's a fight for every G in his name. Gennady Gennadovich Golovkin. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not going to go all day. Danny Miracle Man Jacobs. I'm not going to go all day with his resume because it would literally take all day. But Saul Canelo Alvarez, not only the face of boxing, like I said, but he's in his rightful position as a top Mexican fighter and one of the top fighters because he is on the pound for pound list right now of all of boxing. And the funny thing is, this is what I want to emphasize to y'all. And this is what motivated me to do these types of lists, because I think we should appreciate what boxing is. You know, it's something that's supposed to bring us together. Now, I know boxing is a very intimate sport and we like the clashes, and sometimes they do exploit the cultural rivalries, the ethnic rivalries, the nationality rivalries, but at the same time, we come to this sport to enjoy it together, and our commonality that we should establish fellowship in is with boxing. You see what I'm saying? And how better to further emphasize that than the fight that's coming up. The number 1 American boxer, Terrence Bud Crawford, if you didn't go watch that video, go check it out right now. What you're waiting for? Going against the number 1 Mexican boxer in Saul Canelo Alvarez. So we have Cinnamon versus Budrick. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I will say this again. I'm going to keep saying it. This is not a battle for greatness. This is a battle of greatness. And what I mean by that is that Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's already great. He's already an all-time great. He's a legend in the sport. Terrence Bud Crawford, his resume speaks for himself. He has a phenomenal feat of being undisputed in 2 weight divisions and being undefeated while doing it. He's already great, an all-time great, legendary fighter. We have 2 great fighters coming together for our entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to put some money in their pocket, and they're fighting for legacy, but most importantly, for our entertainment. So we should appreciate it. This is not a battle for greatness. This is a battle of greatness. 2 separate great entities from different countries coming together for one exceptional night of boxing. So that is my top 5 list of Mexican boxers. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Once again, this is as of August 2025, and this is not just what you have done, but also a combination of what you have done with what you're currently doing and what you will be doing in the imminent future. Let me know what y'all think about that. Who do you disagree with? Who do you think should be lower? Who do you think should be higher? And hey, drop your own list in the comments, man. Appreciate y'all rocking as always. Don't forget to smack that like button, but most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Also, let me know what boxing country you want me to visit next, and we'll be there, baby. Good Lord willing. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.